Visualize for a second. Picture walking into a group fitness class. Maybe it's HIIT, yoga, maybe you're at a boot camp, or even Pilates. The music is pumping, weights are lined up, ready. Everybody's chatting as they're preparing to move together as a unit. You start dripping sweat, pushing yourself harder than you would when you are alone. The instructor calls your name. The room erupts in applause after the last session, shouting out your milestone because you've just hit 150 classes. This seemed to be the norm. Packed classes, wait lists, electric energy, and unimaginable growth. But lately, something's changed. Studios I pass here in Tampa have either cut scheduled or some have even closed their doors. My own studio is currently for sale. Classes once that were full, you start to notice that more and more spots seem to be available. People are telling me that they're canceling memberships and switching to at-home services or on-demand apps, trying to find ways to save money. So here's the question I'm wrestling with as I too am experiencing this in real time. Is group fitness dying, or is it about to reinvent itself? In today's episode, we're going deep. We're looking at the hard data, the black and white, the shifting trends, and what's happening right here in the downtown Tampa area, specifically over the last 5 years that I've been an instructor here, but most recently, the extreme changes and closures that have happened in 2025. Then we'll talk about where the opportunity really is for instructors, studios, and maybe even for you as somebody who wants community and accountability in your own health journey. Y'all, let's get into it. Before we talk about the decline or the transformation, let's agree on one thing. Group fitness isn't dead, but it is changing its shape and it is evolving. According to recent industry forecasts, the boutique fitness segment alone is projected to reach $26.2 billion in 2025. That's actually a 17% growth over prior years. And the fitness landscape in 2025 is being driven by what are called tailwinds. Consumers who are demanding more of a holistic wellness, not just basic workouts. And here's a number to watch. In the first half of 2025, gym visits in the U.S. actually went up 3.5% over the last year, with certain budget or mid-price gyms obviously leading the growth. So yes, more people are literally showing up to places like gyms again. The question is, what kind of offerings are thriving and what kind of offerings are actually struggling? Let's get into this. The industry is growing again, but not every studio is benefiting equally. So we're going to talk about why numbers are changing, the friction points, the pressure points, kind of what feels like a tectonic shift underneath the surface of everything going on. Numbers change not because demand vanishes, but because the model has to evolve. And here's what I'm seeing and what the data backs up. The first thing, raising overhead and squeeze margins. Real estate. I can speak to this specifically for Tampa. Holy shit. I don't know how gyms, like boutique style fitness gyms, are supposed to survive when most people's rent is $10,000, $12,000, or $14,000. Then you add on utilities, and I'm not just talking about water and electric. I know for my studio, literally, we were a downtown location, right? When I'm filming this episode, we are 1 week from closing and we are for sale. When we were within our time frame of opening, we still had not acquired parking. There was only a few spots in the retail location we're in. It is the most jam-packed, tight-ass location for parking. Like, it is horrible. It is so tight. The residents that live in the building we are located in drive so damn fast. I'm always so nervous parking in there that I'm going to either have my car hit or I'm going to get hit walking. So we acquired a second location for parking. And we got what is like a code where our members put in the code. We take care of the parking. It seemed like a great idea. However, downtown Tampa has a lot of events, and the city was not willing to budge on event costs, which then hurt us big time because members didn't want to come to classes when there was events. If you know anything about Tampa and our weather, and the fact that we become a huge tourist destination and a huge place where a lot of people that work from home have moved, there are events all of the time. So something that we dealt with specifically was the fact that our own members didn't want to come to class and incur a fee because the city would not work with us on getting this release so that we could have our members come to class, even though we already had this agreement. Then you have to think about insurance, which is not cheap, and staffing. I know at my studio, the entire reason why I was willing to sign up to run another franchise fitness studio was because of the model for staffing. Now, this is not disrespectful, but this is how I feel. You've got a lot of group fitness studios that are 36 to 45 people ratio to one instructor. Do tell me, when you claim to be strength training, how the hell is an instructor supposed to give appropriate hands-on cueing and actually be a personal trainer when they're the only trainer in the class to 36 to 45 people? Please make that make sense, which is in my heart the reason why I think so many people get hurt in group fitness is because of the staffing ratios. So when I had my interview for the studio I just currently am finishing at, I saw an ad on Instagram and I was like, don't know what that is, but there's a rig. There was a rig in the video, and let me tell you something. These freestanding bars in these group fitness classes that you're having to rack from the floor to your chest, put it on your back, it's so damn dangerous. And as somebody now post-TBI car accident with a displaced C-spine, I cannot do that. So I'm not going to go to any studio where you have to take a bar from the ground and put it on your back without being in a rig. That is not strength training. It's strength training components, but that's not a safe environment to be progressing your weight. So when I saw the ad, they had a rig. I did my interview and I was literally sold when I was told that there was 2 certified and accredited personal trainers in every class and that their standards for hiring were significantly higher than any other group fitness studio I had ever been to. I was like, okay, wait, hell yeah, this is worth the investment. This is true personal training in a group setting, not a personal trainer working at a group fitness studio. Those are 2 very different things I have learned. So obviously you have to pay for the expertise. Now in Tampa, this is a serious problem. Tampa underpays like no other. In my opinion, I just assume they think that because it's such a transient area, people come, people go, there's always people moving here, somebody will always take a job. But a lot of these studios, when you find out what they're paying people, it is utterly shocking because that person may be working in an environment that they actually cannot afford to live in. And yet you have these standards where you want these people to work. You want them to have certain degrees, certifications. You need to pay people. But everywhere, no matter what city or part of the country you live in, all costs are rising. The economy is not good. You've got inflation. Now you've got this ridiculous tariff situation. Everything is getting so expensive. Many studios are running on very, very thin margins. So even if attendance dips by 10 or 15%, your profitability literally starts to disappear. I've heard from several local studios, as I now know of 5 studios that are closing within 5 miles of my current studio. And it's a lot of people saying the same things. They could no longer justify having as many classes as they were having, so they had to cut back their class schedule because they just couldn't afford to stay open with only 6 or 8 people showing up. We had one studio I heard about, literally like the land they were on was sold. Other studios just can't keep up with rent being $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode. it does not stop getting more expensive here. And so when you think of the second thing that's important in all of this is consumer demand for flexibility and hybrid options has become a thing. People no longer want to be locked into a rigid class schedule or long contracts. Hybrid memberships, which is something that you see in a lot of the bigger cities, I have not seen this a lot in Tampa, is when studios offer in-studio and digital classes. So now the stakes for many successful gyms, you have to be offering something more. You have to be different. Some studios offer recovery. We started doing a membership program. So if you're a member at my studio, you gained access to over 20 vendors that were giving you discounts to wellness, recovery, chiropractors, physicians, like different food meal prepping services. You name it, we found it. As just a means to be different and offer our members more. Because with the ever-evolving competition, specifically in such a small city like Tampa, you have to keep diversifying your offerings or you're going to lose people. The third part of all of this is the digital fitness and wearables as alternatives, I think is a factor in all of this. According to the ACSM, the wearable technology is the number one thing on the list of fitness trends for 2025. Mobile exercise apps are literally number two. People now have trackers, they have coaching online, they have on-demand workouts. Every single fitness influencer you know has a workout app now. So you've got data feedback in their pockets without ever have to leave their environment. So for certain people that have flexibility, they don't mind going to a class, or if there's traffic getting to class, you really have to start thinking about convenience and time and just how important time is. And so for those who are extra busy, getting on a workout app and going to their apartment gym might just solve a lot of their issues and be good enough. Then the fourth thing I've noticed in all of this is saturation, consolidation, and competition. Not everyone can or will survive, and sadly, I am literally seeing this myself. More and more gyms have announced closures or acquisitions of studios across the country. Some of the big names in like franchise fitness have started selling off individual brands underneath their umbrellas. There are studios that are best positioned in Tampa that I've noticed are the ones that reinvent themselves, who have some type of specialty, and who lean into community rather than have it as a commodity. I personally believe in this wholeheartedly because what we did well at my studio was build a community that was next level different and better than any other studio I have gone to. There are so many studios in Tampa that I go into to drop in to take a class, and I just sit there. Nobody talks in class. Nobody interacts. You take the class and you leave. And that's fine for some people. Like, I'm busy, doesn't faze me. But even there are places I've dropped in where the staff is not friendly. Like the front desk staff. The instructors are always fantastic. I feel like that is just a natural thing as an instructor. It's just how you interact with people. But it's very off-putting when you walk into a studio and the front desk is rude, or they just kind of have an attitude in the sense of there's no hey, how are you? Just what's your name? Here's where you're going to be at in class. Then you have the places like my studio where your coaches a lot of the times are both front desk and coach. And so you get to interact with them more, and you know what it feels like being an instructor and what your members are looking to get out of it. And so I feel like for us, community came first from a coaching standpoint. And I think that is what helped us for so long, because we had such good retention, because everybody really enjoyed the experience that they were having. In Tampa, what I have noticed is a lot of what once was really popular boutique hit studios that have other locations have either sold locations, they've downsized, or hearing through the grapevine of people that still teach at some of these hit studios, numbers have drastically gone down, which has meant that they've had to lessen their class schedule or decrease the coaching in the classes. So now they're down to one. And that's really hard to hear, because that means the members are having a compromised experience at this elevated cost. And so what used to be classes that were waitlisted and selling out, now you're seeing some studios are only operating at 50% capacity, and most people will not last at 50% capacity. I've even heard that some studios have had to merge classes or drop days completely. And it's not that demand for movement has evaporated. It's just that people are voting with their time, their convenience, and their expectations. And honestly, from my standpoint as an instructor, I don't want to be doing the same thing I was doing 4, 5, 6 years ago. Because if you continue to do the same thing day in and day out, you're going to plateau no matter what you're doing. For me, my big thing and why I don't believe in like HIIT style strength classes, I truly believe that strength is strength and cardio should be cardio. Strength should be progressive, time under tension, progressive overload, rep base, weight selections, progressions in weight. You can't do that in a setting if you don't have something like a rig, which is why there's like a handful of studios, I don't even need a whole hand when I think about it actually, that have a rig that are within like 20 to 45 minutes of the downtown location. And this is because of traffic for our listeners that aren't in Tampa. Having a rig is critical for strength training. Like if you're going to back rack a squat, I sure as hell am not putting a 200-pound barbell from in front of me and then putting it on my back. You're literally like increasing your risk for injury with the rotationary compounds utilizing your C-spine. So when you think about it, if your goal is strength training, for us in Tampa, in the downtown area, not talking suburbs, because going to the suburbs literally would mean spending 2 hours of your day for a workout because you're looking at a minimum of 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. Our options are significantly limited to box gyms, which is I'm going to be going to a regular gym, or driving to like South Tampa, or driving to the other side of St. Pete, like right across the bridge. There's not a lot of options for proper strength training in Tampa right now, which is what's wild to me, that you don't see attendance going up. But I also start to wonder, what is group fitness doing right then? Because studios and franchises are still coming to this area specifically. I know when I was in Denver, there's a girl on TikTok. I wish I could remember her name right now. She's opening a yard gym, and I wished it would have been open because, again, it just looks like proper progressive programming, strength training done right, appropriate equipment for strength training, and then obviously a cardio component too, because that is necessary. But you're still seeing franchises open up across the board. So there's got to be advantages that remain compared to going online or doing an app. And solo options can't fully replicate that either. And so what interests me is what group fitness still gets right. Group fitness still holds irreplaceable value, in my opinion. Digital can't fully replicate energy and momentum from the room. The pulse of the music, the communal rhythm going on of people working with you and around you, that shared exhaustion and accountability that you get by being in that class and the people working with you, pushing you and you pushing them, you can't replicate that. The accountability, commitment, and social bonds. I have met some of the most wonderful people in the last year at our studio that I've never seen in Tampa in almost 5 years. Humans are social, so showing up with your people increases the odds that you'll continue to come back, which obviously increases your ability to transform. Real-time coaching, safety, and progression. I could go off on a freaking tangent about this. I kind of have in this episode. Instructors don't just adjust form. They don't just change your weights. They don't just like catch you when you're doing something wrong or your technique needs improved. Coaches see something that you don't always see in yourself, especially when you're new to a group fitness class. They see your potential months down the road that you're going to achieve in that real time. Being a personal trainer in a group fitness studio compared to being a personal trainer at a standard like franchise boutique style fitness, like how to make this make sense for those that are not trainers. Obviously, I'm certified, accredited, been doing this for literally over 12 years now, online and in person. When I worked at a group fitness studio, on cardio days, I was the only coach. On strength days, there'd be 1 to 2 depending on the numbers. You are really going around the room, handling your business, doing your thing. Obviously, I was a very hands-on coach, which people always, when like everything came to a transition period and I transitioned to my next studio, I had gotten so many messages from people after I was gone, like, you're the only one that fixed form, like, you were so form focused, like, I really appreciated your attention to detail. That's just my physical therapy background, and because I got hurt in a CrossFit class, like a severe injury to my spine because of a CrossFit class. Not all CrossFit, again, is done wrong. It really does come down to the instructor, their skill, their expertise, and their ability to actually properly progress and regress a member in real time. So when I entered this realm of proper progression, well done programming, adequate equipment, appropriate coaching staff, it really heightened that personal training, individualized experience that you should get even if you're in a group fitness class when it comes to strength training. There's also ritual identity and a sense of belonging when you're a part of a studio that becomes a part of who you are. We always called it our Fit Fam, but it really does become a place that I genuinely care about my members inside and outside of the studio. I would notice when people weren't there, or when people went on hiatus, or when somebody was traveling, and you remember all of these little key details about their lives. And it's not about sales. It's not about retention or attrition. When you're a good personal trainer and coach, you generally give a shit about the people in your classes, which is why for me, in the current circumstances I am in, I am crushed for my members and for my staff. Those are the two biggest concerns I have with our studio being sold and it not happening in a timely manner. So most of us will be gone. Is the fact that, one, I love all of these people so damn much that I am generally concerned about where people will go, where they're going to end up. Will they have just as good of an experience? Hopefully better. Doesn't really seem to be the case because the options are severely lacking. And my team, just the way we came together and built what we built, that is why I don't think group fitness is dead. I just think it is evolving. And I almost feel like what we did was necessary, and we filled a gap that wasn't there. When you look at all of the boutique franchise style fitness classes, there was nothing that was progressive strength training and appropriate interval style cardio classes that was tailored towards each person's individual performance, because our studio utilized this tech-based program that didn't just monitor your heart rate. Anybody can give you a heart rate. You're not doing anything special with that. It's the way our programming synced to that heart rate monitor system that created this end range number that you were trying to achieve that resonated with your percentages of your activity level in real time. So at our studio, you were progressed and regressed in real time based off your own individual performance, which you don't get at any other franchise style fitness that I've personally ever been to. So when I really think about it, I personally don't think group fitness is dead. I do think it's time to evolve because the core value is still present. The buildings, the schedules, the pricing models, that is what is under strain. But there are studios and trainers who are reinventing themselves rather than trying to retreat. So we're going to talk about how group fitness can evolve, or you're going to die trying. Reinvention versus decline. Here are strategies, pivots, and formats that I think are working and that I see other studios doing that will define the future of group fitness. Hybrid, digital, and on-demand integration. Giving clients flexibility to show up in person or virtually, or flex different locations if you do have multiple locations, is a game changer. Having pop-up classes and outdoor formats, whether that's at a park, a rooftop, a beach, seasonal events, or charity tie-ins, chef's kiss. If we did anything right on top of our programming and our personal training versus being a group fitness instructor, it was how we integrated community local businesses and events. We had seasonal events. We had quarterly events. We had challenges almost every single month. We did boot camps at our local Armature Works location, which is this incredible business in Tampa that has this opportunity that you get to teach your classes outside and meet so many amazing people that may not have come into your studio. By integrating all of this, that is how you stay relevant. And I do really think the more studios integrate this, and the studios doing events extremely well, like in Tampa, Camp and Sweat, those are my two favorite places where I drop in at, because of their community integration. And Camp literally is chef's kiss when it comes to member events. They just had their 9-year anniversary and literally amazing. 12 out of 10, their offerings, their integration of businesses, like that is how a business should be run in the fitness realm. Now, you have businesses that are micro niche and specialized in programming. I've seen studios offer pre and postnatal, aging population classes, mobility and rehab, recovery, and even studios that integrate sound baths and mental health. That is the direction things are going. People don't want to be over medicated. People are seeing more holistic. People are paying attention to what's going to your body. You're seeing this movement of people drinking less. There has been a transition that has changed in fitness. Now, experience and immersion over commodity. Your music, your lighting, even the scent, recovery add-ons, turns classes into an experience. And when you're paying $250, that's like the average cost in Tampa. Most studios I've seen are $220 to $250. You better be like giving it to people, because if not, they're going to go down the street and they're going to try something else, because everything is overly expensive. So what can you offer as a studio that is going to make you just a little bit better than previous other locations or your competition? It really has to be something that is well thought out and can never stop evolving. The moment you get comfortable, your growth starts to slow. And if you're not growing, you will die. Community-driven membership models. Now, this, I think, is the icing on the cake to all of this. Referral programs. We have members that have referred 10, 15 people, like free memberships. Saving $200 a month in the scheme of things right now is really important to people. Alumni groups, local collaborations, build a this is our place feeling, in my opinion. That's what I call it. That's what we did with our community partnership program. We called it the preferred membership program. And every single month I was adding to that program, finding small businesses. We allowed our small businesses to have their own pop-up day. So when you entered our program, you offer a discount to our members. We offer you a reciprocal discount on our memberships for you and your employees. Then they got to do a Saturday vendor day that was just for them. The next step was to incorporate them into our social media to promote them in our program. And then lastly, all of our preferred vendors were invited back for every single quarterly health and wellness event. And it just really showed that we were committed to building in our community, and we weren't solely focused on just membership sales. Now, all of this leads us to what I want each of you to take away from today's episode and this conversation is how to act, how to think differently, and where the opportunity lies. Because we're going to close out with how you can actually lean in. And I think this is the most important part. So what do you do with all of this, honestly? The data, the pressure, the opportunity, it's probably scary. If you follow me on social media, we did an amazing job. I bared my soul for 2 years to build this organization. And I never saw this outcome coming. I could have never seen that our owners were going to resign and sell at no fault to the staffs or the members or anything. This is just a decision that had to be made. I respect somebody making the decision that's best for them. But it really is scary when you think about it. There are now 5 gyms that I know of that are for sale, have sold, or have closed. Anything from female studios to, we were obviously a franchise strength and conditioning studio, CrossFit studios. I know a lot of studios that have downsized, limited class offerings. Even some of the popular studios I drop in, I have booked same day. And 6 months ago, if I waited to book a class the same day, I would have been on a wait list. chances are I wasn't getting off that wait list. So there has been a shift, and it is scary. I don't know if every other city is like this, but as costs continue to rise, people are going to cut. So here's how we're going to summarize this. If you're a fitness professional or instructor, embrace the hybrid options. Build your personal brand. You've got to specialize in something. What can you be known for? And facilitate community. If you're a studio owner, this is hard because you got to reassess your costs. You have to have some type of hybrid offering, something that makes you different, something that caters towards your membership base. You must invest in experiences. You can't just think you're going to come out here and offer classes and somehow keep your head above water. It's just not going to happen. Collaborating locally is where competition dies and you thrive. When you collaborate with the people around you, you start to thrive. But when you see it as competition, that is when a demise happens. You really have to watch your metrics. If you are somebody looking or you are a participant at a studio, I want you to remember your why. Utilize the options, but don't abandon connection. And if your studio isn't innovating or isn't offering different opportunities or experiences or themes or challenges, then it's time you think about where you're at and where you're investing your money. The way that I am kind of transitioning into this situation that I'm currently in, into where the future lies, is building a multifaceted company brand. So obviously my GinaMarieFit has been my online brand for, oh my gosh, I really do think it's 12 or 13 years now. Math is not my strong suit post TBI. I have a free offering, which is the Impact Collective, which is an online wellness community that launches literally in 1 week this coming Monday. And it's my 0 ticket offer. It is just a place for people to connect. There will be free workouts. There's going to be a lot of, tips on building brands, building businesses, motivation, the fun stuff, but also opportunities for small businesses to shout out what they do and get recognized. Then I've created an expansion of Sweating Together for a Cause. So my charity collaboration organization, we have been hosting events for now 3 years in Tampa, raised thousands of dollars, literally have given every single cent back to every charity we've raised money for. I've never taken a single dime out of this business. So we have a community aspect where we host events, we diversify our offerings for each class type, and we partner with not only a charity, but a business and an instructor, which helps cross-reference everything everybody's doing, gets the word out, gets money in the pockets of the charity so they can keep their missions going, and it's been incredible. Now we've extended that into the Impact Society. So not only will we offer wellness events, but I have some events under my sleeve that I am working to build out with some local companies, figuring out times, offering details. But through that, we have an umbrella now. We've got the Impact Collective, which is the free community. You've got Impact Training now. If you go to my Shopify store, which is linked in the show notes of this podcast, you will see that I offer online, very involved coaching, either weekly or monthly. I offer workouts through an app for $100 a month that are customized to you. So this is not a base program option. So if you want a program and you're going to say, hey, I go to this gym, I have this equipment, I need a program built from that, that is the offering that's $100 a month. Now, if you want a program, I have 3 different types of programs. One's $25, $35, and $45. The more days, the higher cost because they're more involved. These guides are thick. So that is for somebody that doesn't want solely a customized, individualized program, but still wants, they're all 3 months at a time, still wants a progressive 12-week program. So we have that offering. And now I'm extending my event offerings into Impact Nation, where we're going to start doing upcoming collaborations, vendor opportunities. I'm actually one of the sponsors for a gala coming up in November. I'm now also one of the sponsor vendors for an upcoming Pilates event in November. I want to get my organization out there and make more of an impact. Instead of just solely hosting our own events, let's pair up with other incredible people and start collaborating on events. And so that's where Impact Nation comes in. I did all of this because of this unexpected situation and circumstance, seeing what needed, seeing where there was a gap, and just filling in the gap and really backing it with the same quality, work ethic, and passion I bring to teaching in person. And so my belief in what I'm placing my time, energy, and money on now is that group fitness isn't dying, but it is evolving. The ones who survive and thrive will be the ones who are willing to change, adapt, lead, and meet people where they're at. If you want to go deeper, if you want more information on all of this, check my show notes because we're going to talk strategy. There's going to be mini master classes in my collective group. We will be lifting each other up, and we're going to keep building out that program because the hardest part of all of this is losing your community. And if you haven't yet, I always like to remind you at the end of every episode, I would love for you to subscribe to Mindset, Health, and Empowerment, the Unfiltered Trainer podcast, and leave your girl a 5-star review. This is something that started as a hobby. Literally, it's so crazy to say that. It has become clearly my passion project, but it's definitely something that I, behind the scenes, am trying to be better at because I do want this to be a part of my everyday life. So when you subscribe and you leave a 5-star review, that helps me immensely because that helps me get seen by more people. So take the 2 minutes, leave the review, click the 5-star option, and help your girl because I want to keep moving. I want to keep innovating. I want to keep believing in what we do in the fitness side of things. And I know the best is yet to come. It's just going to take time. But through time, energy, consistency, and hard work, we all know that there truly is no limit and anything is possible. So if you're an instructor listening to this podcast, let me tell you something. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep bringing the heart, keep bringing the hustle, keep bringing the amazing programming. We are not dead. We are not done yet. We are just evolving. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next episode.